Welcome into part 4, the final part of our season preview for the upcoming 2016-17 Lincoln Memorial University men's basketball season. And here again with head coach Josh Schertz. Coach, just wanted to kind of tidy everything up and really take an all-encompassing look at the team and the expectations this year. We've done our position-by-position previews, talked about making the transition from this year or last year to this year. So just kind of give some thoughts on, what you've seen from this team and the makeup of this group.
Well, the first thing that stands out is, we have a lot of work to do. We have to get a lot better between now and certainly even Friday, and then moving forward to play with and beat some of the teams that are on our schedule. I think we got guys that are competitive. I think we got guys that care. We have talent. It's just either young or unproven talent. We're going to be, I think, a little bit, as opposed to previous years, probably more inconsistent because of the youth, and even some of the guys that are kind of our leaders in our program are guys that are juniors, like Dorian Pinson and Emmanuel Terry, who really last year kind of came on the scene as sophomores in terms of being major players. So I think there's going to be it'll be a little bumpier ride, than it's been in past years. I think you can certainly expect. It'd be great if there was no adversity, but I certainly think one of the things we've talked about with these guys is that the likelihood is there will be more adversity than what they've experienced, and how they handle that as a group is going to be key for their ability to have success moving forward. Because again, we've got a really young team, we've got a very difficult schedule. We're going to be in some. We have very few home games. I mean, all of it, rides up to being that there's going to be some bumps in the road. So, but I do like our guys. I think we have a chance if we hit our head on our ceiling to be really good, by the end of the year, and playing hopefully our best basketball as we get to the end of the season. There's a process we got to go through, and we can't skip steps. And we're going through it. We're much better than we were a month ago, and hopefully we'll be much better, a month from now when we're sitting down and talking. But I'm excited. I think it's a brand new group. It's kind of, again, in a way, reinvigorating to have so many fresh faces, young guys around. And like I said, a lot of these guys have never been a part of anything that's been accomplished here. So we've got a few core guys that will do a really good job, I think, of teaching them what we do. But at the end of the day, it's going to be how this group kind of comes together and how all these new pieces fit together. And you got to go through some games, some experience, some adversity, all that kind of stuff to kind of bind you together. So looking forward to getting the journey started here in a couple of days.
Well, and the expectations, obviously, as they've been for you the last several years, are really high. Again, picked to win your 5th straight SAC championship, number 3 in the Division II Bulletin preseason poll, number 2 in NABC, all back-to-back 30-win seasons. But one of the things you always talk about when you do these previews is that this is a new team, a new season, and this team has to write its own story. So how does this team write its own story?
Well, I think, you look at the expectations, and I think our guys are smart enough to know that's obviously completely based on what past teams have accomplished. If you look at us from a realistic standpoint, we lost 5 our top 8 scorers from last year, including our 2 leading scorers. We have, I don't study everybody's roster, but I would assume as young a team as there is in the country, we'll have a lot of freshmen playing, major roles, starting, etc. for this team. So we're gonna, we have a lot of things that we have to do. In terms of that, I always look at, I heard somebody say, and I think it's about as true as you can get, you're good if you play good. Whatever the expectations are, everybody talks about on paper and this and that, you're good if you play good. And all the rest is just kind of talk and speculation. And then I think, the magic has always, for us, been in the work and in the details. We have to go to work. We have to have a great attention to detail, and we have to be able to do that and consistently grow and develop, of course, over the course of the year. Because with this group, we're not starting at a real high level. Like I said, last year we were able to almost, not necessarily exactly pick up where we left off, but as close as you can get in college basketball. This year, it's the total polar opposite. So for us, it's coming in and understanding that and trying to have that attention to detail, that work on a day in, day out basis, so we can kind of become all that we can be at the very end of it. And so, and I think this too, with the preseason polls, and we don't get caught. I understand that it's great they do it, because I think it brings it brings conversation, it brings some I guess, shine some light on the league and then in terms of nationally on Division II basketball. So it's great to do, and I'm sure my staff uses it in recruiting and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, whatever you're going to earn of significance is going to happen between the lines. And so, preseason polls, you can kind of toss those out the window when you get out there, because at the end, that's what it is. You got to earn the real important stuff between the lines, and there's no way to kind of shortcut that. And then I think you get into, people say, well, is there a target or et cetera? And we've always been in the mindset that we don't worry about things we can't control. We can't control if the opponent's extra focused, or if the crowd's extra big, or if everybody's really whatever what the opponent's doing. We always say we can't worry about their best shot. We got to worry about giving our best shot, and hopefully our best shot's good enough. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. But that's going to be our whole concern is how we prepare and how we go out and perform. And we try to take care of that. And hopefully, like I said, we're definitely not where the polls have us right now. Hopefully we can evolve into a team that can be a team that can play to the level that people think we're going to be at here to start the year, which again is probably is not who we are at the moment. But again, I like our team, I like our talent. We can certainly become a really good team. Whether it be good enough in our league or in this region, I mean, as good as it is, who knows.
When it's a young team, as we've talked about multiple times, and a lot of new pieces trying to fit that together, one of the things that keeps kind of turning up is how difficult the schedule was this year. You talk to a guy over at Hero Sports, and he said of the nationally powerhouse kind of teams, the elite teams, it looked like we had the most difficult schedule. All those first 6 games are outside Texas Turn Arena. A couple neutral site games in there, but that includes Kentucky Wesleyan, Alabama Huntsville, King. Mm-hmm. So how much more difficult is that task going to become of kind of integrating those pieces and figuring out what kind of team you are with that kind of burden early on?
Well, it's not ideal, when you have a schedule like that. That schedule is probably more suited to last year's team, where you have a lot of continuity and you're really challenging yourself. But I think one thing that we'll have early is truth. We'll get kind of hit between the eyes with what it's like and how good you got to be to win and to beat really good teams. And so I think it'll really challenge us again, not only the level of competition, but not being able to play inside of our arena. We've had a lot of success over the years. I think we only have 12 home games, this year. We got a number of neutral site games and then road games. So at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the biggest, hopefully, benefit, is that we get truth early. So like when we walk in for our conference opener against Carson Newman on the 22nd, we'll have played King and Leeds-McRae and Kentucky Wesleyan and Alabama Huntsville. We should know a lot about ourselves stepping foot inside Holt Fieldhouse relative to what type of team we have. We've been exposed, and now it all goes back to, how do guys handle truth? Do they handle truth in a way that they make excuses or don't get the proper message from the experience? That certainly can happen, but it's our job as coaches to try to make sure that we get the right message. We take the experience correctly, learn from it, grow from it. And so hopefully, at least from my standpoint, with a group that has so much growth to do, that playing such a difficult schedule, and I don't want to lose games, but probably having to go through some adversity, will hopefully expedite our growth process as a group and help us be better earlier than playing maybe 4 or 5 teams that we can win on talent alone, and then going to play some good teams and then not really knowing who we are and not having been exposed. So I do think there's a benefit to it, and hopefully that's what we'll see as we get into that Thanksgiving time. We go play Carson Newman, that we'll have through the difficulties of that schedule and being away from home, be a much better basketball team than we are today.
When last year you said we got to just kind of go right back into it, picked right back up, we kind of knew what that team was going to do well last year. Mm-hmm. Now this year, you've got a really good feel for this team at this point. What kind of do you expect us to hang our hat on? What do you expect us to do well, maybe, or what are we going to probably have to do well to be successful this year?
Well, I think, and because we've had some really good offensive teams, I hope if we're going to be good, I think if you're going to be consistently good where, you win a lot of games and you're able to win in difficult environments, all those things, I always think you got to hang your hat, or we do. We got to hang our hat. We got to be great defensively, and that means obviously finishing possessions, rebounding on the defensive end falls under that. We better be a team that hangs our hat on toughness, physical and mental toughness, and we need to be a team that hangs our hat on execution. And that's, what our mantra was last year. What we had last year was a bigger margin for error. We could go out and have lapses defensively. Even though I think we led the league last year in field goal defense, we have every year. I think all the last 8 years, last year's team defensively wasn't nearly as good as previous year's teams. We've got to be much more blue collar. We've got to be a team that really goes out and kind of, for lack of a better term, brings its lunch pail every day and competes at a really high level, because we don't have, again, the shooting to go out and make 17, 18. That's not going to happen for us on a consistent basis, or maybe even at all. So when you don't have that, you've got to be, again, much better inside the details. But over the years, because we put up some good numbers offensively, I think people lose sight of that. But we've always believed in those three things. We want to be unbelievably good and unbelievably sound defensively. That's where it all starts, because shots go in, shots don't go in. You're gonna have energy certain nights and not energy, whatever. But if you can be really good defensively, if you play with great toughness from a physical and mental standpoint, and you execute at a high level, you're going to give yourself a chance, even when you're not maybe at your best. And that's what we've done over the years. And this year's team, maybe as much as any, has to do that, because, again, I think there's going to be times where we're going to struggle to score the ball. There's going to be times where things aren't going to be as easy as maybe they've been. We don't have as many experienced guys. So there's a lot of things that are different this year than over maybe the past 3, 4, 5 years, where we've had some inherent advantages in terms of having a lot of experience inside the program, etc.
When the season gets underway on Friday, November 11th, here you play Kings, so you've obviously seen this team a lot. 3 in-game scrimmages, and all the practices leading up to everything since you guys got back on campus, including the summer. So just give some final thoughts and just reflection, or not really reflections, but analysis of like the 2016-17 season.
Well, I think we've got some guys that have some really good strengths. It all starts with our 3 guys that are back from last year. Those are the guys that got to kind of lead the way, and I'm talking about Luquan Choice and Dorian Pince and Emmanuel Terry. If those guys don't play well, we're going to have a really hard time winning games. They've got to kind of set the tone. They've got to be consistent in their performance, and they've got to lead the way. Everybody behind them, I think this may be, from my standpoint, the deepest team we've had. I don't know that we have as much, star firepower as we had on teams in the past, but guys like 8, 9, 10, 11 are probably better than any year I've been here, in terms of having probably 11 guys that can go in and impact a game right now. So we've got to find a way to kind of utilize that depth, and I think it's a group that's going to get better. I think it's a group that when you watch it has talent. There's no question we have size, we have really good speed. We're different in the sense that this group may get downhill and put pressure on the rim better than some groups in past. We're bigger than we've been in past with guys like Emmanuel Terry and Chris Perry and Nixon Blanc, etc. But as a group, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun for fans to watch. It'll watch them grow and develop. I think you'll see product November 11th that'll be at a certain level. But if we come in and I think these guys they work, I think you'll see a lot of growth. I think you'll see the team improve. I think we'll get better as time goes on, and then hopefully as we go and improve, we'll be a team that by March is playing about as well as it can play. And if this team hits its head on the ceiling, then I think we got a chance to be really good. Now, whether that's good enough to be as good as a Wingate or a Queens or a Carson Newman or Catawba or Newberry, Lenore Ryan, all those guys, I don't know if our best is as good as their best, but we'll try to control that, try to hit our head on our ceiling, and see how that stacks up relative to the competition. And this group, like I said, has a chance to do that because of I think they're guys that care. I think we have competitive guys. And so I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. It's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to have, again, some more bumps in the road than maybe in years past, but it should be a blast and a really good group of guys. Hopefully everybody get out, support us, and look forward to seeing everybody Friday night in Greenville as we tip off against a really, really good King team.